Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
This is Mr. Chris Claremont, a legend.
Melanie goes,
Tired. Hi guys, this is Tik Tok Tina with Near Mint Condition, home of collected editions, and today I'm gonna show you these 4 manga from Alien Books. So stay tuned. Welcome back. Before getting into the nitty-gritty with these 4 books, I really quickly want to talk about the size. I don't know what you would call these, if these are pocket size. They're more like traditional Japanese manga that I've seen in Japan. Alright, so I wanted to talk about the size comparison. So you can see the Alien Press books is a slightly smaller size than our Viz book, which is our standard tankobon size, just for comparison. Here is our Yen Press book, if it'll ever stay up. There we go. Our Yen Press book. So the Yen Press, the Viz, same size, our standard tankobon, but the Alien books is a little bit smaller. And then here we have the Dark Horse. It's just slightly smaller than our standard tankobon from Viz and from Yen Press, but it is still slightly larger than the Alien Press, just by what, like a millimeter? So here's a good look at the spines. You can see a little bit more of what I was talking about. Your standard tankobon, your Dark Horse, which is barely bigger than the Alien Press. So I really don't know if it's size for the printer or, you know, who owns the rights, what format they're going for, but, you know, if you know, please let me know in the comments. Educate me. I guess what I mean to say is different publisher, different sizes, but the books are still great. And I'm going to start with Legendary Warrior Momo. If you are interested in a particular book, there will be timestamps below. Alright, before I really get into the meat of this book, I do want to point out again this dust jacket. So they didn't have to come with dust jackets, but they did. And so it's a nice touch. I see dust jackets all the time for actual Japanese manga, so it's kind of a little bit different and a little bit new here. So I appreciate Alien Books for doing this. Do you like dust jackets? Now, if we look on the back, it does retail for $12.99. It is rated M, but I want to point out something a little bit different. And you can see right here, book 1 of 3. I appreciate that so much. That's a nice touch for a manga that's already completed. So it lets me know that this is book 1. Even though it's right here on the cover, some of the books don't really let you know. So you're kind of like, is this the 2nd volume? Is this the 3rd volume? How many come in this particular title? So it's a nice little touch. I appreciate so much. Thank you, Alien Books, for doing that for us. Now, this starts off with kind of a... It was kind of weird. It was really sci-fi. This guy lands on this alien planet. And we don't meet Momo, the main character, just yet. And spoilers, it is mature, so you do have some gruesome scenes in here. We meet Taro, which is a name of a potato, which is really, really interesting. But you have to think about, this is all a play on Japanese words. This is Momo, which means peach. So Taro, a potato, it makes sense. We land with him on a alien planet, or rather he wakes up from a crashed ship. I really don't know his background story, but we quickly meet Momo, a girl who kind of saves him, kind of like I want to almost say like a Red Sonja type warrior woman, which is really interesting. It puts me in mind of sort of like Conan the Barbarian, where it has very futuristic yet barbarian tones, that sort of sci-fi fantasy from the 80s. It was really kind of nice to get back into that kind of, I don't know what to call it. It's a sort of strange feeling for that sci-fi fantasy, sort of like futuristic, but in the past, like very basic survival. And this is what this is. It's very basic survival. We're not really understanding where Taro's coming from in this volume, but we're getting little pieces of the background, what he's fighting for. And the art is pretty gorgeous. I love the shading in here, just the tone values. Oh, yes, look at that. That is some sci-fi fantasy here. Kind of lowbrow, but it does the trick for a sort of like weird survival planet. It does involve a little bit of mech, and we're getting more to the story. This is by Yuji Kobayashi, Z1. And like I said, it's volume 1. And Alien Books, again, lets you know that there are 3 volumes of this manga. So that's a nice look at Legendary Warrior Momo. Let's check out this next book. This is Endroll Back, Volume 1. Once again, like Momo, it does have a dust jacket. And I wanted to point this one out on this one, where Momo is pretty plain. This has some character bios or sketches, character sort of like workouts, like before, after. I thought that was a nice touch to include artwork by the mangaka on the inner cover. This is by Haruna Nakazato Kantatsu. It is about 200 pages, and it does retail for $13.99. It is mature again, and once again, I'm just gonna like praise Alien Books for this. So we know how many volumes this manga is. It's 3 volumes. I appreciate that so much for already completed work. It lets me know that I just need to collect 2 more volumes. A nice touch with this book is there is a color front page to that, so we kind of see what the character should look like. And we've got chapters on here. Loop 1, Angel. Loop 2, Friends. Loop 3, Truth. And what does loops mean in this? So we meet this character, Asaharu, at the very beginning. And I do want to say, I guess, trigger warning or warning. This does deal with issues of ending one's life, or at least his sister, unfortunately, does die by her own hand. So I just want to preface that if you're not into that, it's like a quick mention, but it does explain his actions going forward and his whole drive throughout this manga. His sister unfortunately dies. And he believes it's because she's been bullied, and it kind of talks about his past, how much his sister meant to him, and it just builds up his character on his actions going forward. So we can kind of see like he wants to make sure, because of an incident in their past, that although he loves his sister, he's going to separate himself, but he's going to support her financially. She means the world to him, and when he loses her by her own hand, as I said, as from bullying, he wants to make sure that those who bullied her meet their own ends, like whether it's by his hand or not. And he's given the opportunity to make that happen by this angel creature. I don't want to spoil it too much, but essentially the premise is a really nice one. It's kind of like ReZero. He can actually find the bullies or the people who caused his sister's death, and if he kills them, then his sister will be returned to him. However, if he is wrong, he has to relive sort of like that period in his life over again. So it's basically resetting it. It sets him up like he's just a normal guy. He gets changed into like his sister's homeroom teacher. So he doesn't look anything like he actually does. And as their teacher, he's going to find out who killed his sister or who caused her death. And if he kills the right student, then he gets his sister back. However, if he doesn't, if he kills the wrong individual, and he quickly does in the very beginning, within the first chapter here, then it resets to the very beginning of when he introduces himself to the class. And unfortunately, he takes a penalty. So it's kind of like a game. He takes a penalty where he loses, I think it's 10 years of his life. So he doesn't know how much life he has. So every time he makes a wrong choice, it's reset back to when that very first day when he becomes their teacher, and then he loses 10 years of his life. Now, he does get some advantages, but the advantages, kind of like a video game, when you add power-ups to a character, they come with a sort of drawback, which is really nice. It's not overpowering this character. It gives them a drawback. Ooh, man. Anyways, I loved this book. So check it out. Enroll back. It is 3 volumes, 200 pages for $13.99 Alien books. Our third book in the selection of Alien books is Fake Rebellion. This is by Yucheng Sasaki. It is 200 pages, rated M. So I believe all of these books that I'm going over today are rated M. This one retails for $12.99. And on this one, it is just book 1 of 2. So it completes in 2 volumes. Once again, applause to Alien Books for that. I love when they let us know how many volumes there are. And you've got the dust jacket cover and then the back. And we can slip it out. And then it has its own internal artwork here on the covers. Nice. Nice and red. I love when artists have their own like little sketch of themselves. This one's cute, like looks like a little cat with a beret. Anyways, let's get into it. So obviously this is some type of rebellion. You've got the anarchist like logo. Is it a logo? Is it? Anyways, it's got the anarchist logo. The very first page is in color, which is always nice. Oh, look at this. Open spread. Gives you the characters we're going to meet. And then, of course, it gives you the chapters here. Mortal Genesis, the sun that shines on conquered lands, the idiot prince, and a tiny heroine. In Fake Rebellion, we meet just some guy that's trying to make, I guess, a living or survive in a world where machines have essentially destroyed humanity. They are ruling over humanity. They have classes of humans, the low rung, the mid rung, and the high rung, essentially. Those humans that can provide support or mean something to either the humans or the machines. And we start out in the lowest rung of humanity, like those who aren't really capable of working, like kids, the old, the frail. And in this sort of rung of humanity that is just eking by with these robot overlords, we have a girl, Hanamiya. She's calling herself the princess. They think she is one of the last surviving members of the human royalty of this kingdom that has been conquered by robots. And so she's basically got this band of kids doing her bidding. They look up to her, but it gives them hope. And this ragtag guy just sort of barges in and kind of creates problems for them. Once again, this is mature, so it does have guns. There is death in this. I just want to forewarn you, because if you don't like, unfortunately, kids dying, this is probably not the manga for you. It is not lighthearted. I mean, there are moments of brevity in it, but it does have some somber tones. Obviously, with machine overlords, it's not quite Terminator, but it's up there. It's I mean, who would want robots ruling the world? Let's not get into that, because it could be AI here in a little bit. But so unfortunately, her ragtag group die just to try to get rations to her to surprise her. And she's met with this reality that, hey, this is not all it's cracked up to be. I wanted to give them hope. I did not want to lead them to death. And it's kind of her living her life and saying, hey, you know, what's going on here? I didn't want this to happen. And that ragtag guy that she just met, that she thought was some just ruffian off the street, saves her. And obviously, this is going to lead to a venture between these two. He busts out some robotic arm, and he's like, hey, I wasn't just any ragtag guy. In fact, I knew you weren't a real princess, because I am the real last surviving royal of this kingdom. His name is Maru. Kao Maru. He's the imperial prince of, and pardon me for this one, Einheit. Some of these names I have a hard time like sounding out, because when it's on page you don't really know if they meant Einheit. But he fights back against the machine overlords. It's kind of not quite a Gurren Lagann, but it really does. The art kind of puts me in mind of fairy tale. I think this is one of the stronger books I've read recently. It does have, humanity at its lowest and its highest, those who want to help, those who want to spread hope, and those who are just, what can we do against machines? I mean, there's not much you can do as flesh and blood against still, like cold machinery. But this prince lets this fake princess continue because she brings something that he can't. And that's a hope, a sense of hope. Because if you can inspire hope in people, you really can do a lot. And that's what this is. I'm interested to see where it goes in volume 2, because right now we end up in the mid section of humanity, and there's of course higher ups. We start meeting machines, and I don't want to spoil too much for you guys. We start meeting machines that can talk, that are more into learning, kind of like the AI field. So once again, this is volume 1 of 2. There are only 2 volumes to that. From Alien Books, Fake Rebellion. Our final book from Alien Books is, and you're going to have to help me with this, because I went back and forth with Omar on this one. Is it Kerberos? Kerberos? Anyways, In the Silver Rain. Please comment down below. Help me phonetically sound this out, because it's with a K, not a C, so it's not Cerebus, but obviously it takes influence from that Cerebus, the 3-headed dog. Anyways, this is by Lyra Aikawa, or Naked Ape and Berry Star. Once again, it does have a dusk jacket, which is nice, and this one is in silver. It has some cover art to it. That's really, really nice. I'm really actually enjoying these slip covers. Do you like them? Please let me know if you think they'll get in the way of your reading, if you like them, if you don't. It lists the contents, and once again, point this out. It is $12.99, rated M, and this one is book 1 of 3. That is such a nice touch. Why don't more publishers do that? And I haven't pointed this out yet on the other books, but all of them have this nice, high quality, really nice matte paper. It is glued binding. So this one's a little bit more futuristic. It's sort of like in the near future of Japan. They are monetizing basically a new precious energy. And I didn't quite get it in the very first little bit, but it becomes clear as you move on. This energy is Psi. And this title actually comes from the team. So it is Cerberus is the team. So I guess it's how you pronounce that here, since the team is Cerberus, but it's with a K. That always confuses me. We meet the character, or princess, I should say, Sakuya Tachibana. There is Goto and Leon are also her teammates. So this is sort of like a team that support Sakuya. But in the very beginning, she's training with her team, and there's obviously some type of trauma, something that she has inside of her that, I don't know, makes her go berserk, makes her go crazy. So she's kind of like a loose cannon with the team. I don't think she realizes it. It doesn't really go into it. It's almost like when she snaps out of it, she almost seems to have amnesia. And she kind of like goes back to her normal daily life. See, here we go. There's that logo. So it's kind of like a futuristic, like, guns, glory, fighting. Which, if you're into that, that's amazing. This artwork, look at all this detail. I love this. There we go. Cerberus. So this is definitely science fiction. It's... But like, obviously it's pulling into these sort of elements of that quasi, like, science fiction fantasy with gods, myths, and there's just something that they don't understand. Something weird is going on with this unit, this weird energy that they're protecting, and it obviously is affecting the main character, Sakuya. I don't know, like, these weird creatures, like they have to fight them. And it's almost like that traumatic past or something that's affecting the princess empowers her, has her go beyond her human limits. And we don't get at the end what is going on. You really have to read further along in the volumes to find out, is this a dual personality that she has? Is it because of her traumatic past that she has a sort of split personality? Is something protecting her? Does it have to do with this energy source that Japan has found out that they're protecting from outsiders who want to capitalize on it? What is going on? And I will say these bodysuits are kind of nice. They're pleasing on the eye. I don't want to get too much in depth. Like I said, it is a little bit mature. This one is more violence, gore at this point in time. Obviously, the suits are pretty nice eye candy. But I say check it out. Let me know if you like these dust jacket covers, if they get in the way, if they don't. And is this Kerberos? Is that how you would pronounce it, even though it's spelled with a K? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. And that, as they say, is that. Thank you, Alien Books. If you're interested in purchasing these books, please check out our sponsor.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget, the CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more.
And that was my overview. And hey, let me know in the comments below, are you interested in these books? Which one do you plan on picking up? Do you like the build of these books? The slip jacket cover, the manga? Please let me know. Stay safe, happy, and love you guys. Oh, and by the way, subscribe, hit that notification. It really helps us.